Little Big Man, directed by Arthur Penn and released in 1970, appears to be your typical American Western film. Penn, a distinguished director, most known for his film Bonnie and Clyde, previously made his film debut by directing an American Western. A Western can be defined as a form of modern mythology that offers narrative representation of Americans as rugged, self-sufficient individuals taming a savage wilderness with common sense and direct action. With that being said, Little Big Man accomplishes all of those things by chronicling the life and adventures of Jack Crabb, also known as Little Big Man. The film also manages to capture all of the traditional characters that we tend to see in an American Western, including the Indians, the gunslinger, the gambler or swindler, the greenhorn, the schoolmarm, and the prostitute. However, the way in which Arthur Penn approaches these characters is what sets Little Big Man apart from all traditional Westerns. Little Big Man himself is largely responsible for portraying many of these characters, including the gunslinger, the swindler, the greenhorn, and the Indian. Throughout the various stages of his life, Little Big Man finds himself acting out many of the major roles a typical Western character would play. In addition to the fact that one man is able to personify many of the typical Western characters in one film, Little Big Man also takes an alternative approach to some of the common themes or subjects that may be present in an American Western. The first and most important being the portrayal and role of Indians throughout the film. In the book Hollywood's Indian, Peter Rollins and John O'Connor explain to the reader that Little Big Man presents the Indians as both victims and humans, as opposed to the traditional villain-like role they usually have. A key term that is often used to refer to the Indians throughout the film is human beings, which further solidifies the idea that they are no different from the American soldiers or cowboys who are attempting to take over their land. In one scene in particular, Little Big Man asks his adoptive grandfather if the Cheyenne are safe where they are, and he responds by saying, "Yes, this land was given to us in a treaty." After some time, however, the Cheyenne were attacked by American soldiers, showing the audience that they had clearly violated the treaty. Although these types of violations and mistreatment of Indians happened constantly throughout American history, it is rarely shown in film during this time. This is one of the reasons that Little Big Man stands out in the Western genre, because it shows the audience another side to the Indians that is often ignored or overlooked. Another aspect of Little Big Man that stands out is the structure of initiation and transformation, as defined by Peter Rollins in his book Hollywood's Indian. As a child and young adult, Jack Crabb is brought up by the Cheyenne people who educate him and make him aware of the surrounding environment. Later on, as Jack begins his transition into American society, he gets caught up in swindling, gunslinging, and eventually drinking. All of these experiences teach Little Big Man something about himself, as well as American society. These opportunities have given him the opportunity to see how two very different cultures live and act, and eventually allows him to choose between the two. In another film of the same genre called Dances with Wolves, the main character also has a similar experience. Although it was released in 1990 and has a much more serious and solemn tone, the men in both films are given the same opportunity to see how the Native people live and how they differ from Americans. In conclusion, although Little Big Man may appear to be a typical American Western on the surface, the deeper themes and message present are not those that are ordinarily associated with the Western. But the progressive themes and ideas presented in Little Big Man make it the incredible picture that it still is today.